This is Eclipse from 2006. It's a virtual eclipse. It's an animation of a black disk moving in front of a blue disk. And I've since retitled it Neptune Moon because I realized that after I was looking at it, it's really not an eclipse because, first of all, it's much too slow. Eclipses are very brief, usually about one or 2 minutes, and sometimes as long as 6 minutes. And if you look at it now as a kind of a transit, and if you remember a couple of years ago, there was the transit of Venus, where Venus was just this little black dot moving in front of the sun. And that's what this is. The way I look at it now is that this blue disk is actually Neptune, and the black disk is one of Neptune's moons. And we're looking through a telescope very closely so we can see the moon and the planet almost superimposed. Now, there's also a soundtrack to this, which is it's a remix of some of the ambient work that I had done up to 2006, and it's primarily made from material from my Miles from Mars album, which came out in 1999. And it goes all the way through the 30 minutes. Another thing about this is that it can function as a clock, because when the black disk, when the moon is completely over the planet, it's at the 15-minute mark. And then when it starts to gradually move to the right and you see the blue disk start to reappear, you can see that time is moving in minutes, actually. There's no minute mark on this, but once it gets over to the right side, you know that it's about 30 minutes. Another thing that's interesting, which I saw the other day, which made me think about this for some reason, there's this cruise line that's offering these trips to nowhere. And I thought that was interesting because many cruises are for the purpose of people going to see eclipses, because most of them happen in the ocean. They happen every 18 months, I believe, or maybe even more frequent. They're happening all the time. And so it's interesting that people may be going on more eclipse cruises, because it's not a trip to nowhere. It's definitely a trip to somewhere, because I experienced the total eclipse in 2017, and it's just a fabulous experience. So I can see how people would get addicted to eclipses, and people go on these treks all over the globe to see eclipses. Now, there's going to be a really long one in, I think it's August 2028. It's going to be in Luxor, Egypt. And the eclipse is going to be 6 minutes long. So that's a trip to book for sure. But this whole idea of eclipses being virtual is kind of a nice idea, is that you can kind of get the essence, the spiritual essence of watching an eclipse. And this one is very slow. I mean, it's slowed down maybe perhaps 600% or more. And I like the effect of having a POV, like the transit I was describing. And that's the way I look at it now. So I've retitled it Neptune Moon, which makes more sense than Eclipse.